Hello everyone. This is going to be some Q&A for the 160 class. Okay. And the first Q&A you're going to hear adjustment, expenses, utilities, overhead, increase. Okay, and this is going to be the plaintiff attorney questioning. Ready? What did you say to the plaintiff and what did the plaintiff say to you? That the expenses had gone up and that some adjustment should be made. Were the utilities mentioned? Yes. What was said? That they were nearly double. In what time span? Over 3 years. Did he give you the figures? Yes, he did. Can you remember what they were? No, not exactly. What did you tell the plaintiff? That I did not know why there was such a large increase. Did you have any written agreement with the plaintiff? I believe that it could be called a written agreement. Was that written agreement prepared by the plaintiff? I don't know. Do you have a copy of the written agreement that you have referred to? I don't know. I don't know whether I have a copy or not. In general, what does it say? It says that the utilities and other overhead expenses should be shared between the parties. Did it say anything else that you can recall? No, not that I recall. Do you recall any figures at all that were mentioned to you? I don't believe so. Can you remember the date that the plaintiff told you the increase? No. Okay, switching transcripts. Now I'm going to read some colloquy, okay? So this is going to be a little bit of everyone speaking here. All right, it's going to start out with the court. Ready? People versus Monty, Hallig, and Hawkins, and People versus Varla. The record reflect each of the defendants are present, represented by counsel, district attorney is present, investigating officer is present, and is there anything we need to do before we bring the jurors in? Your Honor, apparently they want to do a 402. I'm seeking the admission of the statement of Mr. Hallig pursuant to 1220 of the Evidence Code of Mr. Hallig, when he was interviewed by Detective Anderson. This is page 6 of Detective Anderson's report, and it is dated 8/31 of 2014. The report indicates that when he interviewed Mr. Hallig told him that he knew the victim because he had seen him in the past, and he stated that he had played football with him for several years. I believe they are relevant. Is the DA even going to bring this up? I'm not getting into any of the statements of Mr. Hallig in my direct examination. Then we don't need to go into it unless you are going to call him for one of your witnesses. I am. We'll deal with that then. Okay. No reason to deal with it today. Perfect. Anything else? Your Honor, just along the same lines, I take it we're not going to get into any of these statements by any of the defendants through this witness today. Don't ask me. Well, no, I'm asking so that if we are, I think we need to address it. No. Okay. Okay, good enough. Let's bring in the red jury followed by the blue jury. The bailiff just told them 9:20. Of course, it's typical of what's going on. All of them are here but 2. Do I have time to run to the... Sure. Going back on the record, in the case of People versus Monty, Hallig, and Hawkins, and People versus Varla, the record reflect each of the defendants are present, represented by counsel. The district attorney, the investigating officer is present. We're on the record, counsel. The record reflects that all are present. Is there anything else we need to do before we bring in the jury? No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor. Okay, so we'll stop there. Again, I'm going to switch transcripts. I'd like to give a variety. right. Here we go. Looks like defense is questioning with this one. Ready? How often do you see him at the present time? I am seeing him about every 3 to 4 months for a checkup at this point. Immediately following the accident, were you taken to the emergency room at the High Desert Medical Center? Yes. And you were there for 2 days, is that correct? Saturday night until Monday. And then you went to Desert Hospital, which I believe was the following day? Yes, I think it was Tuesday. How did you get to Desert Hospital? Was that by ambulance? Did your husband drive you, or what? My sister. You were there 2 days? I believe so. And you continued under Dr. Picone's care, as I understand it, from that time, at least, until May of 2013. You presently see him every 3 or 4 months? Uh-huh. Would that be true from May of 2013? No, I probably saw him more often than just once from May until now. I'm sure I did. Now, after your discharge from the hospital, you indicate your arm was taped to your body? Yes. To hold it stationary? Yes. And how long did you have it taped like that? 2 months. After the tape was removed, were you then in an arm sling? I believe it wasn't tape, it was a sling. It was tied to my body. It is not tape like adhesive. I wasn't really thinking about adhesive. A clot tape? It has bands that has tied around my body, yes. You wore that for about 2 months? Well, I wore it longer, but I had it tied like that for 2 months. Then, when it was untied, how did that work? Then it was a sling. How long did you use it as a sling? 3 to 4 months. Was any other kind of a brace or support used on your right arm or shoulder? No. Okay, who is Dr. Lester? Looks like Brower? He is not a doctor. He is a physical therapist. Where is he located? Here in Yucca. Were you sent to him by Dr. Picone? Yes. Now that was for physical therapy for your shoulder? Right. Did Dr. Picone treat your tailbone at all? He would check it when I would be in, but there wasn't any per se treatment. He didn't treat you at all? Pardon me? He did not treat your knee? No. Now, were you confined to your home for a period of time following the accident? Yes. About how long would that be? I never left the house except to go to the doctor's for the first 5 or 6 months, somewhere around there. Now, when you say you never left the home except to go to the doctor's, were you ambulatory around the house? In other words, were you up and around or lying down? The first 2 months I hardly got out of the bed except to go to the bathroom. All right. After that, I was in bed most of the time. I didn't do any household chores or anything. Were you residing at the Kismet Street address at that time? No. Were you separated from your husband at that time? Yes. Were you separated from your husband before the accident happened? Well, over a year before the accident happened, yes. Who were you living with at the time of the accident? My son Brian and my daughter Cameron. What type of physical therapy treatment did you receive? Involving heat or exercise or what? Exercise and some weight bags. And approximately how long did you undergo therapy treatment? I honestly don't remember. I would guess 2 months. Did you receive benefits from that? No, it hurt worse than it was helping. Did you go to the acupuncturist after the therapy then? Yes, because Les was interested in that. How did you find the acupuncturist? Did Dr. Picone suggest this person or what? No, a girlfriend in the medical field suggested her. Where is she? Not the girlfriend, the acupuncturist. Where is she located? Palm Springs. Is she in the Palm Springs Medical Center there? No, on North Palm Canyon. Okay. Now, what was the primary reason or the primary injury that caused you to be confined to your bed for such a long period of time? The pain. In what, your shoulder? In my shoulder. Were you taking any kind of medication for that pain at that time? Yes. Do you recall what you were taking? I really don't recall. It was... I have it here. It is spelled Vicon or something like that. Did you get any relief from that? No, not really. Were you taking any other kind of medication? He switched me later to, I can't remember the name of it, to some other pain medication. Did you get any relief from that medication? No. Were you taking any over-the-counter medication at the same time? A lot of Excedrin for the headache. Did the Excedrin relieve your headache symptoms? I thought they did a little bit. Were you at any time required to have any kind of a brace or protective device for your tailbone? Not something that was put onto the body, no. How would you describe the feeling in your tailbone before it resolved? Is it aching, pins and needles, painful, what? I would say aching. Okay, and I just want to remind you, the brief for headache is H long A K, hake. I know we covered that in this Q&A here. So the brief for headache is H long A K, hake. All right, so that concludes the Q&A for the 160 class. You have a great day.